Alrighty, it's time for another gym battle. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm pumping my fists in the air. Yep. Alright, so we got ourselves the fire type gym leader battle. Unfortunately here, I get to fight one of my favorite people in Tajiri right now. This battle was also less than, what I wanted it to be, but it's okay. I learned a lot in this battle. We're gonna review some of the footage real quick, and we're gonna have a great time. Yeah, but overall, this battle right here was like one of the turning points of my Tajiri season series, whatever you want to call it. At this point, trying to get this badge was like I don't know, it was more than just a requirement for me. It was more of like I don't know, a test to see how my experience at Tajiri would carry on afterward. But yes, I started with the opening of the Iron Boulder and Illuminion. Just a little heads up about the Luminion. I know most people wouldn't really see it out in the middle of a battle, but I decided it was kind of cool to use a Pokemon I've recently used myself. In the region, or at least Discord server that me and my buddies are participants of, we do these multi-draft battles where we basically randomly select Pokemon and build teams out of those Pokemon, and then we put ourselves into multi-battles and battle each other. It's pretty cool to see what people can do and create out of the Pokemon that they are forced to choose, and also just see how great their teamwork is with randomly shuffled people, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I brought in the Luminion here just to see what it could do. I knew I was going against fire types, and I wanted to know if it could stand some harsh attacks. And Luminion is surprisingly pretty bulky. Yeah, I just wanted to know if it was able to do a lot. Another funny observation about this gym battle, I thought it was pretty funny how me and this gym leader also had similar tastes in style. When it came out and we saw each other's fit, I was like, hey, no way that we're matching right now. I get it, it's a common suit in the game, but it was just so funny that we both happen to be wearing the same exact article of clothing. I just thought it was really funny. Alright, so we both had some pretty strong leads. I see we also pulled back some very strong Pokemon. He definitely realized that if I had Iron Boulder out there, the Burning Bulwark wouldn't really do too much. So I think it was smart that he decided to pull back. I went a little bit more on the defensive and decided to go for the Attract on that Torkoal, which was also just countered by a Yawn, which was hilarious. I didn't expect to get Yawned so early. Keeping Luminion out here would be very dangerous, but I don't know. I just wanted to see what I could still do while I was still awake. Unfortunately, that came a little too close for me. I think I was deciding on trying to sub out my Luminion and try to keep it alive. I had a feeling that Rillaboom would have been targeting me at some point. I didn't know if it would go for a fake out or if it would go for a Grassy Glide to take me out. It's also funny right now, rewatching this footage, I'm starting to see that we have very similar styles even while I'm watching this, or rewatching this for like the second time. We both were very energized about this battle. We were both heated. We both talked to each other in our chat and said basically, you know, we're ready for this fight. I'm here with the hand. Shout out to Feek, actually. He's currently the reigning champion of this region of Tajiri. But I also find it funny because I'm also currently the reigning champion of our server, my server, back in the one of my buddies. Name drop to be determined or to be revealed. We're going to do that in a little bit. But I just thought it was really funny. I'm fighting another fellow champion, but in a gym battle setting. And I was really here for it. I thought, you know, I could take him on. I could do something with it. Blow for blow, hit for hit, and we're just knocking each other out. We had 2 switches at this point in time each. We both swapped similar Pokemon for similar battle styles. At this point, we both have one Pokemon knocked out, and I'm just like, man, I'm just so evenly matched with this guy. Like, I can't believe it. This man is literally taking my hits and returning them with speed. Now here comes the tough part here. I wanted to get rid of this Ogre Pawn. But I also wanted Rillaboom gone too. And this is the part that made it really confusing, because I think I decided to Terra here into water, so I can hit that Ogre Pawn either with like a Dragon Pulse or a Water Pulse and deal damage to it. I was also debating on swapping out at this point too, but I really wanted that Rillaboom gone. And for the spare chance that he was going to swap the Rillaboom, because I had a feeling he would, I wanted to make sure that that thing was gone. At least Terra watering my Lucario would at least keep it in the fight a little bit longer. And I hoped that even with the Sun Boost, if I did get hit with a Ivy Cudgel, it would hit Lucario because I was still part Steel type. And this is when I started to panic. Perfect counters all around. Why was this man so... Here's the thing. I was that spiky shield. The fact that I doubled into the Rillaboom and missed that spiky shield was crazy. I really did want to hit with the Sky Attack though. It still did it. It still did a decent amount of damage, but yeah, I think I eat the high horsepower here, which is good. The next issue is the Grassy Glide, which I am not prepared for. So I think I go for a Feather Dance on the Ogre Pawn. And I think I swap out here. I didn't really know what to swap out into. I think I actually went with like a Bullet Punch just to shave off some damage. I didn't really have a choice here. Surprisingly though, he swapped out with a Rillaboom. The Grassy Glide did come from the Ogre Pawn, which is crazy. At least the Rillaboom has the option now to do another Fake Out if it wanted to. But now I'm stuck. Because Sky Attack takes 2 turns to charge up. And I don't have any other flying type moves. Grass disappears here. Sun's still up for about another couple more turns. I gotta make a move here. I see that I went for the Throat Chop there. I really should. Maybe I was just still afraid of the Yawn. I really wanted to get rid of the Yawn. I think that was my main thing. And I didn't know if the Throat Chop would stop a Pokemon from yawning. But it was worth a try. And I've shortly learned that it does not protect from Yawn, which kind of sucks, and I should have went for the Sky Attack of the Ogre Pod. Yeah, that Yawn is really throwing me for a loop. I really can't afford to keep taking losses with that. The Ogre Pawn does switch out though. I'm assuming it's back to the Rillaboom here, but it's actually Gathering Fire. I'm probably afraid it's going to smack that thing with a flying type move, which would have been smart. But here comes the Protect. Feather Dance was a good choice. I at least get to lower some attack. I think at this point in time, unfortunately, I was playing too defensively. granted, with my moveset, there wasn't much I could have done. Yeah, I just had to deal. Just had to deal. I think also in this point in time, he's deciding what he should do. I just didn't want to get hit with the burning bulwark. Feather dancing twice into that slot was probably one of my better moves. Eating a dragon claw like that was perfect. Now that that gouging fire was feather danced, I really had nothing to worry about. The only thing eating me though was that close combat. I really wanted to use it to be okay. And if I tried to use Sky Attack, I'd have to make sure that the next Pokemon did not use any protective moves, so it was too risky. Decided to take this opportunity to do some damage on the Torkoal though. Wasn't enough, unfortunately. That thing is so bulky. Decided to boost up our speed efforts. There's the first article of sleep. I figured since it was still targeting the Hawlucha, I would at least attempt to keep fighting with the Luminion. Luminion, that's what it was. I forgot this thing's name. Poor Luminion. I always like to name my Pokemon, and this is the one time when I was just like, I don't know what to name you. I'll just keep you as Luminion. Well, another thing I do is if I have a Pokemon I'm using for the first time and then I go through enough battles, I'm like, alright, well, I'm going to think of a nickname for you because of how resourceful you've been. Another big issue of mine. I hate time stalling battles. I really do. And I think that Feek here, he also was getting a little antsy and he wanted to deal some more damage and he wanted to hit harder. And for that, I'm sorry, my friend. I had no intention of battle stalling you. I really wanted to get these fights underway, but you were making it near impossible for me to do what I wanted to do. I never swapped out so many times like this. But for the mighty cleave, Luminion woke up, which was great. Hit with the chilling water. There goes the sun boost. Reshiram is still alive, but not for long. That's the part that ruins me. Because now, not only that, it had leftovers. Now, I will say, I did have a covert cloak on, so I wasn't too worried. But now I had a water type and a rock type that's supremely weak to grass type moves. I do still have that tailwind up, so I'm not too worried, but at the same time, I needed some of these Pokemon gone. So if one of them died here, that would have been it. Gouging fire? Question mark? Yep. Damage wasn't enough to knock it out, but that definitely was. Even the chilling water wasn't enough. I will say though, Luminion is still pretty bulky. I just need to hit harder. I don't know why I decided to go for a feather dance again. There really was no need. So I took that back, reversed it for a... What did I do here? I think I throw a chop. Chilling water kept me alive, but just barely. Throat chop got rid of the Rillaboom. And I got crit hit by a gouging fire. I'm at another crossroads because now I have to deal with not only another past Paradox Dragon type, but I think I still had the Ogerpon. Complete opposites back to back right here. We're both out of our Terra types. We can't do any of that. We're down to our last two Pokemon, but I've taken severe amounts of damage. This is prime attacking time. Grassy Glide takes out the Lumineon, which I really should have protected if I had it. But it's another crit, which is great. Very great. Dragon Pulse goes and knocks out the Gouging Fire, which was also great. Didn't expect to go down in one shot. Now we're at a stalemate here. Oh wait, that's right. The Reshiram. Now I have to take out another Dragon type. Comes the Grassy Glide. Dragon Pulse. Really try to take advantage of the grassy field while I still have the chance. Because if I protect here, I would be able to get more health back. Just a little bit. And that would have saved me. But I don't think it was enough. And that's the part that hurts me. Yeah, because he tried to go for a Horn Leech, thinking that I would do enough damage to him. The ultimate move right here. What should I do? Go for the stronger move, right? Stab it all. I don't know. The sun's not out anymore. Or at least I don't think it is at this point. Hydro Steam probably would have been the better move. But the Horn Leech got too much HP back. And I had nothing that could have taken him out. Now, I'm thinking in my mind, had I had Draco Meteor, that might have helped me out even more significantly. But I think that's just it. And there goes my first loss. Everything's all good. Just needed to lock in. Alright, and now comes round 2. Yeah, I really needed to lock in this time. I know at the beginning of the gym battle journeys, I was like, you know, this is a pretty decent time to test out some Pokemon strategies and some new things that I haven't tried. I don't know what these gym leaders are capable of, but a similar format and formula should be used for a lot of these gym battles, especially if they're using a lot of weather themes. Yeah, realizing at this battle it wasn't really the best time for that. What was this? I think it was pretty much my 7th. No, it was around the time I was trying to get my 5th or 6th badge or something. I don't know. It was quite a couple months ago. But he had a pretty good start here. Hit with the snarl. I think only Luminion special attack fell here because of my protect, which was really good. I needed to make sure I did some damage to that gouging fire. The good thing about me using Luminion is that it was already pretty bulky. Even though I lost my special attack, I had moves that primarily lowered stats, which is what I was initially going to go for anyway, because he definitely had some harder hitters on this team. I don't think I had anything like Snarl, but I definitely had some Chilling Water. And even with the Rillaboom that he sent in, hitting it with Chilling Water does kind of lower its attack stat, at least to a decent amount, so that I could do some bigger swings later. Now this is the part that got me kind of messed up. Knowing that I would go for a Dragon Pulse, he decides to Fairy Terra. Perfect switch up. I wouldn't have done it better myself. Like I said earlier, I believe he definitely embodies my battling spirit. Or I embody his battling spirit. At least from an earlier point in time. Yeah, he's definitely going to go for a Snarl again. At this point, I'm not worried about my HP. I'm more so worried about my my special attack stat being lowered. It's not preferred, but I wanted to do everything I could to make sure that certain stats were lowered as well. Grassy Glide didn't kill because of the Chilling Water from earlier, which was great. Let's lower that stat. Oh, that's right. Couldn't do that. Homie had a Covert Cloak. Prevented me from lowering his stats. Pretty smart. Luckily, this Lucario wasn't made to be specially, well, this wasn't made to be physically offensive. Although I do have a Bullet Punch that would have been really nice. Yeah, for the spare chance that I was gonna survive, I really wanted to, yeah, that wasn't the best play. For the spare chance I was gonna survive, I was definitely gonna hit Rillaboom with a, Chilling Water to lower its attack again. But we all know how that was gonna end. I always think about it on occasion. If I swapped out Bullet Punch for, Steel Beam, would it have been a little bit better? I remember I did have Steel Beam on Ashura at one point, my Lucario, and it did pretty good. My only issue is the recovery after the fact. I mean, I did have Bullet Punch on it still, so it did a surprisingly decent amount of recovery damage to at least get us some kills, but it wasn't enough. We still had Pokemon that could use Extreme Speed and other Pokemon that could use Grassy Glide, so I guess it all depended on the speed at the end of the day. Yeah, for those of you who don't really know, the backdrop from using like a move like Steel Beam is it does recoil damage up to like half your health, I think. Like half your like main HP. Homie decided to withdraw the Gouging Fire to bring out the Incineroar, lowering more attack. Which is crazy, because Rillaboom's defenses are still boosted. Luckily, Ashura had Inner Focus, so it wouldn't have been lowered, but there goes Rillaboom, retracting its defensive buff. Bringing out the Torkoal. Boosting our Fire-type moves, which isn't bad. But the switch into Incineroar wasn't the best. And neither was the Iron Head, which also was pretty bad. I'm just trying to remember how I turned this battle around. The funny part about these gym battles is I remember when I was going through a lot of these, and I was just screaming and like yelling, and I was just like, man, I can't get through, I can't get through, and everyone in the chats and everything were telling me, hey man, you need to calm down and relax, you need to calm down and relax, and then Feek over here is still coaching me while we're having our battle. He's like, hey man, you just need to keep swinging, and then I'm just like, man, I can't. I was like, I can't keep swinging if you keep switching, bro. Like, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. No, over everything though. I enjoyed these battles. I really did. It's funny though. I always found that whenever I was more frustrated or I was more panicked, I always seemed to perform better. Normally that should be the reverse, right? Because normally people are like, yeah, you just need to calm down, refresh your mind, and then you'll do good. No, almost like half of these gym battles that I did when I was calm, nah, didn't work out. The only time I really won intense battles were when I was freaking out. Even when it came down to the wire and I needed to focus, no. Staying calm did not help me out, unfortunately. As much as I would like to admit it. I know in some of the videos later, I'm not gonna do any commentary. I'm just gonna be like my actual like live battle feeling and emotion. And the only reason why I didn't do it this time is because I didn't record myself speaking. Yeah, man, these battles were kind of crazy. But draws the gouging fire again because he knows I'm gonna use an Iron Head. And he knows that the Mighty Cleave was going to cut through it. There goes a Protect. I really think I should have Mighty Cleaved the Torkoal. I might have. I didn't pay attention. No, I didn't. Regardless, Rillaboom did need to go. Yeah, that yawn was starting to get on my nerves. I really needed Iron Boulder to stay in the match, but I really didn't want him to die. I honestly should have kept him in, because I wouldn't have thought that he was gonna... Well, no, at this point I would have fake outed the Arcanine, because it was still awake, and then I would have used that opportunity to yawn him. But that's not what he went for. Which is also kind of crazy, because I didn't expect to live that. But went for the Flare Blitz, got rid of homie. He needed to go. Here comes the other yawn anyway. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I took this opportunity to bounce back. I really did. I knew that Ogerpon was going to come in and mess things up. Definitely going to try and do some damage on me. But I really needed to get rid of that Ogerpon. Like, I really did. Minus the Torkoal yawning everything. Like, Sleep wasn't going to stop me from getting through. I really thought he was going to Grassy Glide me for real. He should have. Didn't think that I wasn't going to attack. Crazy. Either that or I was a little bit faster. To this day, I still don't know why he didn't just go ahead and Grassy Glide. I don't know if Ivy Cudgel would have finished the job on me. But here we go. Still got a little sun boost. Bringing out my Walking Wake, which will get an added boost. And I think right here is, yes, so this is where the Reshiram comes out. Oh my gosh, I love seeing Zekrom and Reshiram. I love these legendaries. Unfortunately, due to time and everything, they didn't really get the best support. But hopefully, in the upcoming gens and everything like that, they will. I'm still waiting to see that the original dragon. So glad I read that protect. I had a feeling he was going to try and yawn again. I'm glad I read that. And now that he protected that one time, I wanted to get rid of the Reshiram, but I really should. I don't know. I had a feeling that the Torkoal would protect, but I should have Dragon Pulsed right there. I had told myself in my head, I was like, I really should have just Dragon Pulsed. I don't know why I didn't. Don't know why I didn't. I was just very lucky right there that my Draco Meteor missed. Not mine, his. But because of that, Photosynthesis is gone. I could swing again for another Draco, but I think that's what it was. I think I was afraid he was going to switch into Gouging Fire. That was the issue. I remember now. Yep, because here he does it again. He does a switch. And Arcanine is still knocked out. Now this is where the battle gets a little dicey, because I think around this point in time, the battle ended up failing. You guys will see in a second. Arcanine finally woke up. Homie was so locked into using Yawn, bro. Like, I don't know why. He was so locked in. I just said, you know what? Screw it. Homie just needs to get knocked out. We're done here. I'm so sick. Yeah, I think at this point, all we had were 3 Pokemon. I was trying to go for a flinch. Went for the CC, took down the Reshiram. I'll add Dragon Slayer to Dark Shadow's title chart. I think my Arcanine fell asleep a total of like 2 or 3 times this entire match. I was really more concerned of knocking out every other heavy hitter on his team. And honestly, if I did get burned, it would have been better than being put to sleep. I really wanted to switch I really wanted Dark Shadow to get hit with the Burning Bulwark. Like, I really wanted it to. There goes the break-in swipe. Dealing damage, lowering some attack. Rapid spin for speed. I just needed that Gouging Fire gone. I really did. And this is the issue I was referring to. Man. Thankfully, I was able to knock him out before the battle was decided. Alright, the penultimate fight. I don't even think I used that word right. I don't even care anymore. I'm really tired. The point of time when I'm recording this, I finished up like 2 or 3 different side projects of mine. Oof. Alright, so as you guys could see, he started off with a different start. He also swapped around a couple Pokemon. I decided to keep the same 3, or same 6. Um, yeah, so he started off with the Gouging Fire instead. I decided to Terrastalize immediately. I said, you know what? Go for it, Lucario. If he doesn't know what your Terra is, it's time to let loose. Or he might have actually seen it beforehand, if I can remember. We had like 2 battles prior to this one, so it was kind of wild. Forgot homie was a dark type, so that Dark Pulse really ate me up inside. Still went for a Water Pulse. Hoping for slight confusion. That and the Fishy was out of water. Thankfully, the confusion did work, which is great. But Fishy was out of water, and I wanted him to get back in. Didn't want to have to deal with that Walking Wake again, but not Walking Wake. Didn't want to have to deal with the Gouging Fire Terra thing again. Really trying to determine what the best course of action would be. If I remember correctly, we battled like at least 2 or 3 times. I don't remember how many times anymore. It's been way too long, but I do have all the recordings, so it should be fine. We'll see them all in the next couple weeks or so. But yeah, fighting him here, I was just like, man, fire types have just gotten so much more bulky over the years. Like I remember Torkoal was probably one of the more stocky, bulky fire types, but we got Pokemon like Incineroar, we got Gouging Fire now. You know, those were just some things I just wasn't, anticipating the entire time and just thinking I would go against. On top of that, I've never seen anyone else use any of the legendaries from the Unova region. Like he was like the first person I ever fought that actually willingly would throw out a Reshiram to use in a fight, and I was just like, man, this dude's locked in. He could have used Ho-Oh. He could have used what's another fire legendary? Fire legendary. I don't know. He could have used anything. He could have used Groudon if he wanted to for the sun effect. But he had a Torkoal for that. I don't know. Like, there were so many better options he could have had, and he chose Reshiram, which is pretty good. I respected that out of him, and I really told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to fight this man again. Not really with a more gimmicky team, but with something that, like, brings out the best out of my Pokemon, and I think would bring out the best in his. And the next fight we had was pretty interesting. I really can't wait till I show that one. It also would have been really nice if my Pokemon had competitive or something. The amount of times that he lowered my stats would have been perfect. I remember correctly, this thing has water absorb now. Forget it. No, it doesn't. That's right. It was, what's its ability now? I forgot. It, like, changed the ability. Yeah, I was hoping to go for another confusion, and lucky enough, I managed to do it again. It does unfortunately hit us with the snarl, so that does kind of ruin my plans with that Pokemon. The better move for me would have been to swap out Lucario at this point, especially since I allowed that thing to hit itself. Now, Tailwind's popped up. We don't have as much to worry about. We went on the defensive approach, which was pretty nice. Still wanted to go for another Dragon Pulse, because I said, you know what? We could still hit this thing. Really should have doubled into Gouging Fire, though. That would have been nice. Unfortunately, that man just wanted to get rid of both of us at the same time, and now he has the opportunity to defend himself. But our special attack has been lowered so much that I don't even think that Dragon Pulse would have knocked him out at this point. Decided to go for a stab move. Really should have went into the Gouging Fire, though. I don't know why I didn't just double attack into it. Oh, man. He really faked me out there. Like, he was really confident in the fact that his moves would have been fine. And he didn't have to worry. At this point in time, I really should have swapped my Pokemon, because now everything's going to get it washed. They both can defend now, which is crazy, and I can't take damage from either of them. And I only have 3 Pokemon left. I've pulled some comeback victories before, but this one was going to be a little bit more difficult. So I decided to bring my own special and physical duo. Still pretty fast because of the Tailwind. My only issue now is just trying to make sure that my Arcanine doesn't die. And they both can protect right now to evade the issues that would ensue. Should have went for the Gouging Fire instead, because I wouldn't have taken any burn damage. I was just trying to decide who I should double into. But here comes the Burning Bulwark. And a Spiky Shield double. Again, I say, I should have went into the Gouging Fire with my Arcanine, and then hit the Walking Wake with my not Walking Wake. Goodness, the Ogre Pond with my Walking Wake. Goodness, you guys could hear how tired I am. I just need to call it quits, bro. I said it's done time. Get out of here. Here comes the Ivy Cudgel. Quad effective. Homie's getting knocked out, unfortunately. And I still have a plethora of Pokemon I have to deal with here. At this point in the battle, I'm just realizing, and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, where did I go wrong? I could have made better moves. I definitely could have pulled this back around. It was possible. I wanted to go for the CC, but I think Sky Attack, no. I don't know why I decided to Feather Dance. I mean, granted, I think in that moment it did help, because I wasn't sure what it was going to do. The Hydro Steam was definitely going to knock out the Chi-Yu. If it did attack again, I would have lived it. Except for the Horn Leech, which honestly, you know, did more than I wanted it to. but with the majority of his hard hitters still kind of remaining in the match, it was really difficult. One tiny Pokemon fighting against legendary giants. Like, what was I supposed to do here? I was pretty cooked. And they both could have protected. Decided to go for the Reshiram. Should have actually went for the, no, I remember why I went for Reshiram. I went for Reshiram because it still didn't have stats lowered. For the spare chance that I was going to get hit with a IV Cudgel, I could have survived. But getting hit with the Dragon Pulse is another story. Overall, I were to rate this battle, I definitely had a lot of improvements to go, but it was fun. I learned a lot, and I realized at the end of this fight, man, this guy and we have similar battle strategies, and I'd like to learn more from him.